My family has been making wine in Argentina for over 100 years. My great-grandfather came from Italy at the turn of the century with the vision of planting a vineyard of his own. And what he loved about Argentina was the open land, the abundance of food, of everything. My father, Nicolás Catena Zapata, is known as Argentina's high-altitude Malbec pioneer. He revolutionized Argentine winemaking by planting where no one else dared to plant. In the 1980s, my father went to California and saw that there was an extraordinary revolution going on in the Napa Valley. That these Californians had decided that they would make wines that would stand with the best of Europe.
That passion for quality was my inspiration.
You couldn't just adapt what is done in Bordeaux, what is done in Tuscany, what is done in Napa, California, to Mendoza. We had to start from zero. My father realized that in order to make wines with concentration and ageability, he needed to plant at higher altitudes where it was cooler and there was more sunlight intensity. And that's why he started planting higher and higher. At almost 5,000 feet, the Adriana Vineyard is the pinnacle of high-altitude viticulture. Nobody thought that a vine would ripen at extreme high altitudes here. Not a Chardonnay, not a Cabernet Sauvignon, not a Malbec, but it did. I was actually trained as a doctor. I thought I was going to spend my life drinking the family's wines, not making them. Because Mendoza is so different than any other wine region in the world, the research really took at least a decade before we had the first commercially available wine. The Catena Institute is collaborating with other wineries to define the regions of Mendoza and to create a sustainability code for the region. We do over 1,000 microvinifications a year. And we study everything from the behavior of different Malbec plants at different altitudes, whether we want to plant in calcareous soils and stony soils, what density to plant Malbec, how to vinify it, what other varieties may have potential in Argentina. We have created the first ever in the world Malbec plant selection, which is called the Catena cuttings. By planting these special plant selections at different altitudes, we can guarantee that each vineyard has even quality across the plants, concentration, richness, all the things that we look for in a high-quality Malbec. Catena Malbec is a blend of Catena estate mountain vineyards at different altitudes. You have these velvety tannins that just melt in your mouth. And it has such a characteristic and classic flavor of Argentine Malbec. My father and I love to drink Chardonnay, but in the 1980s, most of the Chardonnay was planted too low in altitude, so he planted higher and higher. Catena Chardonnay comes from our high-altitude estate vineyards in Mendoza. The floral aromatics and minerality in this wine distinguish it from any other Chardonnay in the world. Catena Cabernet Sauvignon is a blend of my family's estate vineyards in Tupungato and Agrelo. The blend of these two vineyards makes a beautiful Cabernet Sauvignon that has nice typicity, beautiful grainy tannins, and is a little bit more old world than new world in style. The Catena Alta wines are made from a blend of historic rows in our high-altitude vineyards, and we harvest them separately, we vinify them separately. Alta means high, and it defines not just the altitude that these wines come from, but also the incredible level of detail that goes into making these wines. Catena Alta Malbec has beautiful acidity that comes from the high altitude, grainy tannins that come from Adriana, the sweet softness of Nicasia, and the mid-palate and slight pepperiness of La Pirámide. The final blend, the final sound, is like a symphony. Catena Alta Cabernet Sauvignon is a blend of the Domingo vineyard and the La Pirámide vineyard. When these two come together, you get a very elegant wine that is a little bit more old world in style, very drinkable, rich, ageable, a beautiful wine. I can distinguish Catena Alta Chardonnay in any blind tasting. It has the same beautiful minerality, floral notes, the characteristics that could only come from high-altitude Mendoza. we got this love for the land, this vision from my great-grandfather who came to Argentina with a dream. This dream is still alive in our family. There is still so much work to do. We never feel finished, and that's actually a big part of the fun.